you for joining us here on This is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to you with 3 exclusive stories on the show this evening. For the first time, the Israeli ambassador today put out a tweet, very aggressive tweet, questioning the Vadra Congress, specifically questioning Priyanka Vadra and her stand on the war in Gaza and the narrative war, of course, which Israel continues to fight. And the big exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, as we break down the details of Operation Sindoor, here's what we know. 314 kilometers. It's not 300, it's much more, and it gets better. We have fantastic details of Operation Sindoor on the show tonight. 314 kilometers in just 240 seconds. That's how we brought their planes down. Here are the headlines on This is Exclusive. S400 shot down Pak early warning plane 314 kilometers away. It's the longest confirmed surface-to-air kill, and we did it in just 240 seconds.
Gaza has grown demographically 450% in the last 50 years. What kind of genocide is that? And therefore, when people use these terms, not only that they distort reality, they are promoting a blood libel against our people, and we are not going to remain silent.
Israeli ambassador takes on Priyanka Vadra over her genocide claim, asks her not to buy the Hamas numbers. Exclusive interview is on Republic. DGCA issues a show cause notice to Indigo for alleged lapses in simulator training conducted for over 1,700 pilots. 2 students attacked by stray dogs in Bengaluru. The menace continues. Debate over national stray dog menace getting bigger. And on Republic today, we have the inside story, not just about the protest, but we have details of how it is a shadow war between the Chief Minister and DK Shivakumar. It's only going to get bigger from here. Thank you for joining us here on this special edition of This is Exclusive. We have a big interview coming up next. But first up, we wanted to get you the specific details. On Saturday, we brought you the details of the confirmation of 6 planes being brought down by our missiles. S400 missiles brought down a Pakistan early warning plane, an AWACS aircraft. And hold your breath. It was not 300. We're getting the specific details. 314 kilometers, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the big breaking news update. 314 kilometers, guided by India's own airborne warning and aircraft control system right until the terminal phase. This missile traveled the distance in just 4 minutes, and this is the specific detail we have. It was not 300, 314 kilometers, and a flight time of 4 minutes or 240 seconds. Can you imagine that hit? 314 kilometers in 240 seconds. And that's the exact detail that we have. 314 kilometers in 240 seconds. The S400 shot down Pakistan's early warning aircraft 314 kilometers away, flew in stealth mode till the terminal phase. And this has the lowest radar cross-section. The smaller the RCS, better is the stealth. And that's how the S400 outsmarted the Pakistanis even before they could blink. In 4 minutes, they had lost 1 plane. We don't know whether it was in that same period when they lost all 6 planes, but they were caught completely in a surprise, and we have the full details. On the 10th of May, the hangar housing C-130 Hercules VVIP transport aircraft was hit. This was the Pakistani hangar hit at the Chakala airbase. 2 F-16s were destroyed in Jacobabad. And we have more details that on the same night, another hangar was hit. The Northern PF command and control network went blind after Chakala was hit, and the Indian Army used M77 to target Pakistani posts. Pakistani troops had abandoned their post near the LOC, and we're getting in more details. I'll go across to Ishan, who will join us with details. Now, Ishan, this is the longest recorded surface-to-air kill that we have in modern history. But the fact that it has happened in 240 seconds, now these are staggering details that will be studied and celebrated for many, many years to come.
Yes, these details are important because the previous recorded kill of an aircraft at this distance was of 214 kilometers by Russia. And this Russian kill was during the Ukraine war. Furthermore, these details of the strike are exclusive for Republic. And the details that 314 kilometers was traveled by a supersonic speed by the S400 missile. It was guided by our own AWACS system in the during the attacks. And the important details to note here is that the S400 missile system has a very low RCS when flying with coordinates fed to it by our own AWACS systems, and it only turned on its radar in the terminal phase, which is less than 50 kilometers from its target. And once the missile flying at supersonic speeds reaches the 50-kilometer mark, it is impossible for a target to evade. The Pakistani aircraft that was downed by the S400 system was also an AWACS system which was detected by our AWACS, and in response, the missile was fired from the Indian sides. The S400 missile has a three-stage solid fuel system. The three-stage solid fuel system gives it ample amount of time ample maneuverability to reach its target and have a kill. Back to you.
Yeah, be with me, because I have some more details that I'm picking up, right? The S400 took down a wide-bodied aircraft, which of course we know by now it's an AWACS/Elant aircraft near the border in Punjab area of Pakistan. Now, what we also are hearing, that the aircraft hit was either a Saab AWACS or a Dassault Falcon 20 Elant aircraft. Now, these are details available. Now, why is this a record kill? Because this is the longest. It's 100 kilometers more than the previously recorded surface-to-air kill. 214 kilometers, as Ishan mentioned. But this was 314, and in 240 seconds. On the same night, we took down several aircraft. And when we speak to experts, Ishan, they tell us, you know, one particular war analyst said, we have only, that is the air chief has only spoken about taking down aircraft in surface-to-air combat. We don't have a number of how many planes have been damaged in our firing in air-to-air combat. Some estimates putting it at over 20 planes either damaged or destroyed. We don't have that number yet. We'll stick to 6 for now. But this is something that will embarrass Pakistanis for many years. Ishan, if you can tell us a little bit more about the specifics of this hit.
The specifics of this hit is that once the AWACS aircraft was discovered by our own AWACS aircraft, this intelligence was fed to the transmitter unit of the S400 missile system. Once the S400 missile system had its target locked, the missile was fired. It used its propulsion system to reach supersonic speeds. Once the supersonic speeds were reached, since the wide-bodied aircraft do not have much maneuverability and it does not have much speed, it could be easily targeted by our own S400 missile. The S400 missile flew for almost 4 minutes before hitting its target, giving the 314-kilometer ranging data. And once the confirmed kill was there, it was then noted that once the confirmed kill was there, it was then data was transmitted back to the Indian side, and it was reported as the confirmed kill. Once the confirmed kill was there, the S400 also has a stealth capability. It was flying in stealth mode for most of its flight, and only in the terminal phase did it switch on its radar. Once the radar was switched on, it was also discovered, but by that time it was too late for the Pakistani side to react or take any elusive action.
Yeah. Ishan, be with me, because we spoke to the Air Marshal Anil Khosla, who's also the former Vice Chief of Air Staff. And we asked him the specific question about how and why this is significant. In fact, he's one of the military commanders who also planned Balakot. He was the Vice Chief of Air Staff during Balakot. And he spoke, and he was there when the Air Chief delivered that comment. He spoke about the significance of it. It's a short chunk. Listen in. So I want to get into the details of what our air chief has said today. And he's made a lot of critical points. Of course, he has mentioned 6 planes, 5 fighter jets, and there is 1 air warning plane as well, surveillance plane that has been destroyed, right, in the fire. Operationally, so when you look at how deep we've gone and hit these targets, he spoke about how it's the longest, target we've hit, 300-kilometer range. Operationally speaking, how significant, because you've been there in the headquarters, how significant is this, sir?
Yes, quite significant in the sense the warfare, what is happening is it becoming further and further. When I joined the service, all the warfare was confined within a sphere of say 3 to 5 kilometers around the platform. But now it is, beyond visual range, you don't even see the enemy. And so what is the significance of this is after Balakot, especially the Indian Air Force capability enhancement has taken place. A lot of systems have come in like S400, Rafale with very big standoff ranges, which were not available during Balakot. So that has made the difference. And in this case also, Chief, like very clearly brought out that the Pakistani aircraft were not allowed to come closer because of fear of being shot down. And like in Balakot, they had used the standoff bombs, which they couldn't use this time. And also S400 was a game changer. And rightly so, with S400 deployment, they couldn't come closer. And that's how these capabilities were put to use. And that's how we achieved this. I think Indian Air Force did a great job and achieved these results.
Sir, I have some of the pictures and I'll play those pictures. Okay, so some more details will keep trickling in, but I'm going into the next story because I'm short of time. I'm going to the next big exclusive here on the show. Today we saw a diplomatic exchange on social media between a member of parliament and a member of Vadra Congress family, Priyanka Vadra, and the Israeli ambassador to India. Now, Priyanka Vadra has consistently voiced her support for Palestine, carrying Palestine bags, and today she alleged genocide by Israel. And the ambassador has responded accusing her, Priyanka Vadra, of showing Hamas sympathy and stating her deceit was shameful. My colleague Shavan Sen, our senior editor, spoke to the Israeli ambassador to India.
I want to also focus on some of the statements that have been made from some of your allies. From the United Kingdom, there is also a similar sort of a condemnation coming in, saying that there's a wave of international condemnation, particularly your traditional allies. Here in India, you've had a parliamentarian, Priyanka Gandhi, saying that there is a genocide that has been committed by the Israelis. How do you first look at domestically here in India, the statement that has been made, while the government has been steadfast, making it very clear that we stand with Israel? But you've had a section here in India too, raising this entire concern about a genocide being committed.
Well, in the last 2,000 years, there have been a lot of blood libels against our people. It started with the Roman Empire that saw Jewish nations as a threat on their civilization and decided to erase us. And then when it adopted Christianity, they changed that in order to continue chasing the Jewish people, and there have been blood libels against us throughout centuries. And we didn't have a voice. Israel didn't exist.
Right.
But now Israel exists. And I am the ambassador of Israel. So we are going to defend ourselves from blood libels. Israel never had a policy of starvation in Gaza. We allowed 2 million tons of food to arrive. There's no precedent in the history of warfare that one side supplies the food to the other side. If we wanted to do genocide in Gaza, we wouldn't have allowed that. And by now, there wouldn't be any Gaza. But guess what? Gaza has grown demographically 450% in the last 50 years. What kind of genocide is that? And therefore, when people use these terms, not only that they distort reality, they are promoting a blood libel against our people, and we are not going to remain silent in face of that.
Ambassador, are you very clear about the fact that when these multiple reports essentially coming in from the Western media in particular about the situation in Gaza being dire, children dying, the numbers that have been put out by the United Nations, would you then say that it is completely irrelevant? International bodies like the United Nations has also come down heavily on Israel. would you then say that these bodies are now becoming absolutely redundant? Because we here in India too also believe that what we have witnessed in terms of terror being perpetrated by Pakistan and international bodies being completely silent. Is India and Israel on the same page when it comes to the role of international bodies, for instance, the United Nations?
To a large extent. The only difference is that we are in a much worse situation because we are outnumbered and we are too small. You know, Israel has gone out of its way to get people and civilians out of harm's way. What is happening in Gaza is a terrible tragedy. A terrible tragedy. Nobody is trying to deny that. But the responsibility lies on Hamas. They are the ones that are hiding behind civilians. They are the ones that are saying that they want to sacrifice 1 million people for their cause. They don't care about rules and about norms. Israel is the one that cares, and Israel is the one that is being held accountable because we are a democracy. Now, the UN represents groups of countries, big groups of countries, that have an interest against us, and they appoint biased people, like this anti-Semite, Francesca Albanese, that was sanctioned by the US. And they issue these reports that are completely biased. They actually not only undermine us, they undermine the mere institutions that they serve. Because when the UN is engaging in breaching the basic norms of neutrality, and they are all ganging up to punish Israel, to adopt decisions against Israel, they just prove that the UN doesn't function, that it's not efficient. So when you have an organization that is not even capable of, defining what terrorism means, it means that it's completely failed. It has failed politically. It has failed, morally. And we are used to that because we are in minority. We are the one and only Jewish state.
Right.
And we have the right to defend ourselves, and we will. And we will do this according to international law, and nobody is going to lecture us because people are trying to, hold us to a standard. They are not upholding themselves. And this is very clear, and as Indians, you know that very well.
And on to in fact, that full interview will be uploaded and we will play it on the weekend as well with the Israeli ambassador to India. The next breaking news update on this is exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a political scoop, and this one is from Karnataka. On the face of it, it appears like Rahul Gandhi has sacked a minister for contradicting him on, of course, what he claimed was vote chori. But what Rahul has ended up doing is split the Congress party down the middle in Karnataka. There are more details coming in now, and that's the breaking news update that we have on This Is Exclusive. There are inside details of how Rahul Gandhi's move has now ended up splitting the Congress. There is complete dissatisfaction in the Siddaramaiah faction due to Rajanna's dismissal. As per reports and inside sources, we've been speaking to different people through Republic Kannada in Karnataka, and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is upset with the High Command for the manner in which it was done. There is anger in the CM's camp over DK Shivakumar's alleged attempt to undermine Siddaramaiah. Now, that's what he feels, because there has been a shadow war ongoing between both of them. Some saying that Rajanna may have been sacked to send a strong message to the Siddaramaiah faction. Siddaramaiah himself has reportedly expressed his deep satisfaction to his close friends. There's a shadow war. Rajanna, one of the closest aides of the Chief Minister, has been extremely outspoken, had asked for DK Shivakumar to step down from one of the posts. He had said that there is no need for one person to be a Deputy Chief Minister and also the Congress President. But it appears that there is much more to it. And this could be a trigger to what is likely to come next, because in the Congress party, there is a view that this could have just sparked a larger war within the Congress, something that the High Command has been trying to keep silent for a long time now. A plan was made, reportedly, now this is what sources are telling us, that a plan was made to remove Rajanna from the cabinet at least 3 months ago. Not now, but at least 3 months ago. And that a complaint was filed with the High Command against Rajanna, and the High Command was reportedly upset with him. They were waiting for the right time, and he made public statements against DK Shivakumar and Surjewala in the past, and that's why they felt this is the right time to sack him. But Siddaramaiah is upset. Let's see where the story goes. The shadow wars always get interesting when there is someone's head that falls, and Siddaramaya's aide has had to go. It's only going to get interesting from here. That's it on This Is Exclusive. Thanks for watching.
Washington, Labour.